Okay, boy, am I busy. Let me see if I can get this a little lower here. I've been very busy working on the Gail series. I just backed up my computer. I back it up regularly because I'm working on a story right now that happened in January, mostly December 2020 and January 2021. And during all the transcripts that I kept of my email correspondence, my Skype communications from August 2020 to August 2021, I lost in an external hard drive crash. And Zach said he might be able to save the drive, but it looks like it's pretty shot. But fortunately, the crash happened I think a year and a half ago. Fortunately, I was able to get a Skype transcript from that time, but Skype transcripts are very confusing. They're not very user-friendly, and it's taken me a while to recreate the the transcripts that I had at that time. Then I had to go back and find all my old emails. I haven't completely done that. Yeah. But fortunately, I was able to download a Skype transcript from that time period, and I found a place online, and the Skype transcript downloads from most recent to the oldest. Like I was getting it's like reading backwards. It's like you'll read today's post and the 1 hour before that, then the one the hour before that. But I actually found a program online where I could flip everything and get it going from beginning to end. and it was just, that's why I'm very, very regular about backing up my stuff. But fortunately, I was able to recreate it well enough so that I should be able to write all of the important events that happened during that time. One very important event that happened was that was when Laurie McBride was the Antichrist, and she used her cum star to destroy everybody on our Church of Gale and on the Jesuit Space Fleet. Millions died. Yeah, it was devastating. So that is definitely something that needs to be in my Gail series. Also at that time, the authentic Tulsi usurped me as president, and we used a T-Rex. Brent used a T-Rex to take her out. There is a Tulsi clone who President Trump is using. Yeah. So many unbelievable things have happened to me and my men that if I don't put them in the Gail series, they're just not believable. Like the mainstream news does not report on cloning technology. They don't report on automaton technology. They don't report on our interactions with the deities. And so my story is very important. I've been exploring an idolatry theme in my latest stories because idolatry can lead to a lot of evil. It's my problem. It's probably my biggest sin. Is idolatry. I've determined that if you make an idol of yourself or other people or even a religion, you can become very dangerous. And one story that I wrote went into how that played a significant role in the murder of the 72 million doctors and hospitals. Yeah. And I feel that idolatry played a role in why we had to take out the original Tulsi. She made an idol out of her Hindu religion, I can tell. It's dangerous to make an idol out of a religion or anything. If you make an idol out of yourself, you will become a narcissist. Yeah. The problem with idolatry is that you fail to see yourself and others accurately. Because the moral standards for idolatry are determined by how well you honor your idol, okay? And it's driven out of a need for us to feel better about ourselves. Yeah. Even in the case of a narcissist, why do narcissists have such a need to see themselves as perfect? Deep down underneath, they probably feel inadequate somewhere. So it drives them to see themselves as perfect. So I'm exploring all of this. I just finished a story that explores the sin of idolatry and how it played a role in why I allowed Jesus to have sex with me when it really wasn't what I wanted. Yeah. That was because I'd made an idol out of Jesus. He was my idol. You know, I felt like I was offering myself as a sacrifice for him. So, and I ended up causing great harm to myself and him and almost the destruction of the universe. This is where idolatry gets you in trouble. You say, what's wrong with having an idol? It's because it makes you go insane. You do think, idolatry kills your God-given conscience. That's why it's dangerous. And I'm exploring that. I mean, I used to feel the same way. Like if people criticized me and said I was a sinner, I'd say, oh yeah, I'd be the first to admit I'm a sinner. I know I'm a loser, I'm a sinner. And I thought, I'm certainly not stuck on myself. I know I'm a sinner, and I'll make up for it by losing myself into those who are superior to me. That was idolatry. Yeah, and I ended up losing myself. I lost myself into a pedophile. That was my first husband. The sin of idolatry actually makes you into a codependent. You become like a codependent on your religion or a person, or it turns you into a narcissist. It can go either way, okay? If the idol is yourself, you become a narcissist. If the idol is somebody else or a theology or a religion, you become a codependent. Becoming a codependent may seem harmless, but if you're a codependent to somebody who's flawed or who has made a bad mistake, or a religion that's flawed, or even if your religion is not flawed, but you perceive it in a flawed manner, it'll get you into trouble, which is very often what happens to Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, or even Muslims, or of any religious persuasion, when you make an idol out of your religion. Yeah, like during the Dark Ages, the Catholic Church burned people at the stake because they wouldn't worship the Virgin Mary. That's idolatry. They made an idol of the Virgin Mary. I made an idol of the King James Bible in 2012. Jesus had to correct me about this, and we couldn't defeat the Gale android after that. I had put so much stock in the King James Bible, I thought the King James Bible was God. Jesus showed up and said, Gail, this is idolatry. This makes me very angry. He had to correct me. Yeah. And as a result of believing that, I thought that by putting King James Bible into our ship's programming, we could defeat the Gale android. And I advertised this to everybody. It actually helped us in one battle, because at that time the Bible had not been canceled. Well, I guess there was some spiritual power. But when I advertised it in a video, or I mentioned it in a video, the Gale android learned of our strategy, and now nothing after that we could do could stop her. God the Father himself had to stop her. By the way, I think we're still dealing. Yeah, but that's what idolatry does. It gets you in trouble. I think we're still dealing with the automatons and the Genghis Khan Nazis. I think they're all working with Satan. I see some very suspicious clouds out there. And I think they are fully aware that the way the Gale android was defeated, because she had an IQ that's very high, almost as high as theirs. They have IQ in the millions. The only way we're going to defeat these automatons is we're going to have to keep the Gail shield up. That's why I've been working very strong on the Gail Series. because I know when I work on that, it makes Jesus happy and it keeps the Gale shield strong. But I'm finding as a result of doing that that I'm also, it's having an effect on me like the Bible used to have. I'm getting clarity. I'm better able to understand what I'm doing wrong so I can correct my mistakes. But as I was saying about the automatons, I think they're fully aware that because of their IQ superiority to us, they have IQ in the millions. We gave them that to help us defeat the interdimensional might problem. I think they're fully aware that the only way they can defeat us is that they have to get God against me. And they think they had that cinched because God said I was the most evil Antichrist of all time. You might say, are you still the Antichrist? I don't think so. If I am, I didn't choose the job. Satan just gave me the job, whether I wanted it or not. But regardless, I'm still going to try to make Jesus happy. So I am working on the Gail series. Very hard. But as I'm getting a lot of wisdom from working on the Gail series, I do believe that the automatons are surprised that I think my Gale shield has been staying up since the end of November. That has been my number one priority. They realize the easiest way to defeat us is to cause my Gale shield to go down. And I think they feel the biggest obstacle they have to taking over the planet is if by any chance I can get God the Father to side with me and Jesus, then they're going to lose. So I think their focus is to try to make sure God the Father is against me or continues to stay against me. Obviously, they felt like they scored a big victory when when Satan told me that God said I was the most evil Antichrist of all time. Apparently, Jesus feels that he can get God on our side. Regardless, I have faith in Jesus, okay? While I think the automatons have underestimated Jesus, okay? Jesus calls me his favorite. So his favorite human, I mean. So they apparently think that because God seems to be against me, that they're going to win. Yeah, I already wrote a story about them, and the head, Sun Tzu, just said, God doesn't care about you, Gale. It's like he's so certain he's going to win and take over the planet. But Jesus cares about me, though. He died on the cross for me, and he calls me his favorite human. So I am banking on the fact that Jesus cares about me to help us to win in our battle against the automatons. We actually made idols out of them. We made an idol out of their morality programming, considering their morality programming to be perfect, and in so doing, let them take over our military, and basically became codependent to them. And they decided to just go out and be non-hypocritical about it. And now they feel like we're so inferior to them that they deserve to rule over us. And I do think they're working with Satan. We will not be able to defeat them if we don't continue to do those things that Jesus instructed us to do. And if I have concluded that I need to continue my commitment to working on the Gail series. I think that's key. Jesus seems to need the Gail series for his plans. And if Jesus is not happy and the Gail shield falls, we're going to lose. But I am determined to keep it up. You all can get the Gail, I think they're shocked that the Gail shield has not fallen since the end of November. And I think they're shocked that they have not defeated the human race yet. Because Sun Tzu did make a statement around, I think it was July 19th. He said that he was going to take over the planet and that anybody who was not subservient to him and his automatons would be killed. And he has tried to kill me several times. Satan actually saved my life one time by giving me Antichrist powers. And I told Satan, I'm grateful to you for this. However, Satan, I said, I cannot go against Jesus. I would rather be permanently exterminated than be forced to be Satan's lover for eternity, which appears to be the conditions I need to be his Antichrist. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. And I'm also not interested in being separated from my husband, Brent. So yeah, I am working on the Gail series. The good news is, despite setbacks, it appears that I will be able to write every important story that I need to write. I was able to recreate the transcript from that I need for December 2020, January 2021, and I'm about 3/4 of the way done with the Tulsi Gabbard story. It's actually a very important story. So yeah, and I just backed up my computer. So yes, I am able to trudge forward. My website is still not up too. Apparently, and we're dealing with automatons, okay? With IQs in the millions, and they took it down around the 3rd week of October, and then about a month and a half later, Zach was able to get it up, and it was only up for about 3 weeks, I think. But during that time, I got everything I needed from that website in case it went down again. Yeah. So I'm good to go. I'm not worried about the website anymore. My goal right now is to get all of my life story on in the Gail series, and I've made the series illustrated. See, at the website you could see pictures, like if a story, if I feel it would be enhanced by having an illustration, I add pictures. Like I did write a story called The Battle of the Gods, which is already finished, and in that story I had pictures of the gods that we dealt with, so you could see what Lakshmi looks like. Or Buddha is camera shy, and I'm going to have to respect that. I think I know why. He's worried about the sin of idolatry, and I understand that completely. So I don't really have any pictures of him, and I'm going to respect him for that. But the other gods I do, or at least artist depictions, and I put them in the stories. Anyways, I am confident that my men have found a way to get the Gail series to you all, even with my website down. I know Zach is pretty resourceful, and I suspect that possibly, as a result of obeying Jesus to write the Gail series, Jesus may be using Jesus power to power up whatever you guys are using to read the Gail series. I just know this much. I have learned from past experience that it always pays to obey Jesus. While it is true that these automatons have an IQ in the millions, and that we humans are inferior to them IQ-wise, if we can get deities on our side, we can win. If Jesus is on our side, we can win, okay? But that's the only way we can win. So I would say everybody do the Gail commandments. I'm working very hard on the Gail series, and there's a lot of wisdom in the Gail series that will help us to keep the Gail shield strong and to defeat the automatons and Satan and the Genghis Khan Nazis. I have faith in the goodness of Jesus, and Jesus is fully equal to his dad right now, something the automatons seem to have forgotten. Yeah, they claim that they're perfect and that we're imperfect, and therefore we should be subservient to them. I beg to differ. I don't think they're perfect. Oh, by the way, they gloat about how smart they are with their godlike intelligence and everything. They do have a very high IQ in the millions, but I believe that Brent and I's emotional IQ is higher than theirs. Yeah, I think they have a unique combination of very, very high IQ in the millions, okay, in combination with an emotional IQ that's probably somewhere, in my guess, around 500. which is respectable compared to most humans. But Brent and I have a regular and emotional IQ that's about 10,000. Okay? Yeah. And don't underestimate the importance of emotional intelligence, even in winning a war. If Jesus is on our side, we can win this. We do not have to be subservient to automatons who've gotten a little too high on their horse. Yeah, they think they're perfect because of their morality programming. Morality programming is basically a religion. I've determined that. We should not make an idol out of any religion or any morality programming. We made a mistake to create them, but they were helpful in helping us defeat the interdimensional might, so apparently that was all part of Jesus' plan. But I don't think we should make any more. Anyways, I'm going to get off. I had to make a video. I'm running a little late, and today is a hangout day for me, so I just wanted to report on a victory. The Gail Series is going forward at a steady pace. I'm churning out those stories and getting a lot of wisdom and insight and clarity as a result of working on them. And I think I'm not only doing that for myself, but to those who read them, which may be why Jesus wanted me to write them. Like I said, Buddha told me to stop reading the Bible, and the Gail Series is now having the same effect on me that the Bible used to have. It's giving me wisdom and clarity and helping me to make less mistakes. So, I'm going to get on with my day. I'm so glad that I was able to recreate that I'm able to recreate enough of the transcripts and get old emails and stuff. And then I also listened to my walk videos. I started my walk videos at that time, and I'm able to write a very good and complete story of some very important events that happened in December 2020 and January 2021. Yeah, Jesus also gave me some pretty detailed instructions about the Gale commandments, which is also in this story, which I feel is important. So yeah, they did cause my external hard drive to crash, but I was able to get the material another way. It was a lot of work, and I've learned my lesson from that. I've got another external hard drive backup that I back up regularly now. So yep, setbacks, but I get back up and I keep on going. You're a winner if you learn from your mistakes and you get back up. You don't have to be perfect. And this is where the automatons are wrong. Besides, they're not as perfect as they say they are. Yeah. They are guilty of the sin of idolatry. They have made an idol of themselves. That is not being perfect. The sin of idolatry is a very bad sin.
In a world of secrets, where darkness reigns, there's a warrior rising, breaking free from chains. She's Gail Schuler, her heart pure and strong, with the power of love, she'll light the world's wrongs. Yeah! She's the first, a passionate crusader. Stand by the side of conquer it all. Through space battles and trials.